We are back with some more Dream Hangars. We are going to be getting into two hangars today. First one is this one from J Fox Studios. We got some very interesting builds in here, but maybe it'll work. Who knows, right? So we're going to run a match real quick just to see how it goes, and then we'll get into the build details afterward. All right, we got one guy here. I am starting off with the Nomad with the cryo launcher. That's a long dash. This... Oh, man. Nade launcher, cryo launcher, they don't deal a lot of damage. But cryo launcher, at very least, can apply stasis. And if it can apply stasis, just the fact that it's fast means that maybe I can kind of do some circles around them once I've got them in stasis. We'll see. Now, that's a surge. He's moving. I can't really do much to him. Because I am a nomad, obviously. Never mind. He just left. That's fine. Oh, he's got one carbine, bro. What the heck? Okay. Sure thing. Sure thing. No, we're making this work. Making this work. The damage output of cryo launcher is not great. In fact, I'm gonna sacrifice this. Calculate one more thing. Yeah, I want to spawn into something better. Voltaic RPG, okay. Yeah, I want to spawn into... Oh, dear. I should have spawned in the middle while I had the chance. I was too busy thinking about what I wanted to do with this. I'll take this back. It's fine. We have a very, very bad situation there. That's an eclipse. More than likely. Yep. Yep. That's really bad for me. Because... Okay. Yeah. Alright, I got him. He's dead? Yeah, alright. He's got double storm rank 12s on that. Sure, let's go with this toward the middle area. We're gonna lock on to... Oh, crap. No, that's a problem. It's a big problem. Graviton beams. The enemies have graviton beams. It's not good. Oh, are you kidding? Is it him with the... No, it can't be him with the... Outlaw. No. Okay. Hold on, it's back. Let's just hope. Oh, it is him. He's got a railgun outlaw. Wait, why? He's got railgun out... Really? Bro, seriously? Good thing my particle beams don't take long to reload. They also don't deal a lot of damage, but you know. Who needs damage? Yeah, this bot has the same Eclipse build as him. I'm really hoping I can get... Ooh, nice. Okay. So he has crashed the bot, which is good. That means I'm gonna link to that one. I just want to find somebody, and then I'm gonna shoot at someone else. I'm not going to shoot at the guy that I'm linked to. Boom. He's off in somewhere else's land. Okay. That's fine. Don't care that much. He's gonna try to fire his ability at me soon. I want him to. There we are. Yeah, now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He's stuck. Yeah, what are you gonna shoot at me? You're gonna kill yourself. His duration might actually low-key outlast mine. Never mind, he just explodes. Okay. Alright. Vertical beam doesn't do well against these, like, random blockade mods. I'm just gonna finish him off, why not? Not gonna worry too much about it. Finish him off, too. The damage from particle can be okay. I think it is an underrated weapon. I definitely do. But I also think to some degree it's a fairly rated weapon, as in, like, people don't use it because it's not that good. Alright, so we did the most with the Parasite. The Nomad was, like, it was helpful off the rip, right, to grab a couple beacons. So from an individual standpoint, here is what I would say about all of the mechs and the weapons. But we will go through the builds individually, and I'll explain my choices for certain things. So Hemlock obviously was supposed to use Hornets. Now, why am I not using my double Hornet 12s? I'm actually losing damage by having a single Hornet 8 that's only rank 5, right? I could be using double rank 6 Hornet 12. I'd be dealing more damage that way. The thing is that so long as I can apply it correctly, so long as I can apply it carefully, I can make sure that the 16 is the one that always applies the Venom status effect, which means that I will get the 16 energy worth of Venom as opposed to what would have only been a 12 energy worth. So I actually get way more Venom damage out of a 16 and 8, even with this one being a lower rank. This is not an ideal weapon for Hemlock, because you're only going to be able to get out 1, maybe 2 Venom applications per dazed enemy, and it's going to take probably like 3 or 4 to kill most things. Meaning your Hemlock is fairly ineffective, and it's not making great use out of the time that it can take to prep a kill. But to make the best out of this, obviously, I do have Venom damage implant. I have cooldown. I have the daze and EMP duration, just to make them stay there for as long as possible. And I have the daze delay, so that if anyone rushes up on me, I can hit them with my ability and they stop basically immediately, as opposed to getting some damage off on me. For the particle beam parasite, cooldown and duration are pretty much par for the course. You're going to want to use both of them on almost any parasite build that you use. Parasite range is a very nice one. It just gives you more options, and more options is always good, because in a pinch, you're going to have to take somebody. This just makes that a little bit easier. And then, of course, just one random weapon damage implant, and I chose the blast mode damage because that's the one that increases the DPS the most. I could go with redirected damage implant, which increases the amount of damage that other people take from my ability, redirecting damage to them. But I don't want that. I actually want to stay linked to them for as long as possible. I want them to die as slowly as possible, which means that more damage dealt to them. While it's funny, and I would definitely use it sometimes for entertainment, it's not one that I would really recommend using unless it's like maybe 2v2. The Revoker Blizzfrost, I think this is a pretty solid one. I think this is easily... what? I can scroll zoom in? How have I played this game for this long and I never knew that? I could scroll zoom in and it just makes that go away. But anyway, this is easily the best build in your entire hangar. And that's kind of saying a lot, because even this is not ideal. Revokers are not used very much in late game anymore. But we do have Revoker damage, ability duration, ability cooldown, and ability radius. So I'm very much focusing on my ability. I could put range on here, but it's unlikely that I'm even going to hit somebody. This is going to give me 7 extra meters, I believe is what I calculated. So would I rather be able to freeze them from an extra few meters away, or would I rather be able to hit them from an extra 7 meters away? I deal less damage if I hit them from further away anyway, so I may as well increase my radius or my cooldown or my duration, right? And any one of those is probably more valuable. We're making bets here as to like which one's most likely going to come into play. Ability damage is the least likely to come into play, so I don't even entertain the idea of using ability damage implant on it. The Cryo Launcher Nomad. Now, I did have the choice between Nade Launcher and Cryo Launcher. Nade Launcher is marginally higher DPS, I suppose, but Cryo Launcher is going to keep them still, and since you're a really fast mech, that might be able to help you slightly. Either way, this is a very decent mech to use for like in-your-face brawling for at least a short amount of time, sort of a kamikaze thing, but you can do a lot of work in a short amount of time. Not with these weapons, though. These weapons aren't going to do any amount of work. So basically, this is just a throwaway build that you're using for the sake of argument. Now, to make it as effective as possible, we have a cooldown and dash distance on here, and then weapon damage to try to make up for the amount of damage that we don't have, and radius to also just make it easier for us to hit people, because at the end of the day, we're not dealing a lot of damage. We need to be doing as much as we can. And then the Podgun Outlaw, which is pretty decent. People don't really use Podgun Outlaw. It's mostly Hornet Outlaw at this point. So like if you're going to put your Hornets on anything, probably Outlaw is your best bet. But this one is also pretty decent. Yeah, pod gun does have the benefit of being very light on implants. There's only 2 implants that even exist for pod gun. It's just the damage and reload. You can take them both and you'll be perfectly fine. You can also slap on a cooldown and the outlaw range, which again, same thing with Parasite, just gives you more options. Allows you to play it safer and still be able to reach the people that you want to reach. These 2 implants are ones that you're going to want to take on basically any outlaw build. If it's like Hangar Showdown type situation, you could probably get rid of the range implant because it's not going to come into play on those smaller maps, but the cooldown definitely will. And so essentially we're taking all of the available implants here for outlaw with the exception of the radius, but the radius doesn't really help much. It's 30% extra on top of 5 meters, so you're literally getting less than 2 meters from it. All of those things in mind, you're gonna at least want to change these builds. But let's get into one more battle with a little bit more information on what the hangar is that we have and what we're going to be doing with it. So we do have a guy there, Paddy Shah. He's not in a clan, but I do recognize that is not a bot name. So we're going to start off with the Nomad again. This is my fastest one. I'm actually just going to cut right through here and into the center beacon. That is the player. Stormrack Lacewing is what that appears to be, which is very effective. Not necessarily so much on this map, so I'm actually not so afraid of it. He's gonna be up there. Yeah. Oh, thanks, random bot friend. I appreciate it. I'm just gonna go in here, kill him with my ability. I know that I deal a somewhat decent amount of damage with the ability, so get a gauge on that. Alright, nice. Actually, this is good. This is good. I can easily kill him. I got this bot that's, like, following me around with an Aegis Dome. It's, like, absolute gamer. I'm not gonna push that. Yeah, I'm not gonna push my luck with that. I could try to go for, like, their home beacon, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So here's what I want to do. I want to get this guy weak. I want his blockade mod to break. There we go. Alright, well. Hoping to kind of get him with the radius, but oh well. It's fine. Yo, I got that. Okay. Sure. Boom, boom. Yeah, I'm gonna die to that Savant. The Deathwalker. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, fella, how's it going? Oh, you have an outlaw. Yeah. Outlaw's already disgusting. There's a modifier that makes it even more disgusting. Not the cooldown, thankfully, but the stats. Speed and HP. Oh. I think I just kill him with that. Yeah. Pod guns do very, very decent damage. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm afraid he probably has a radius implant on that ability. That is unfortunate. Now, it was risky to put my outlaw into the middle beacon like that, as it were. I'm not really surprised that that happened. But, yeah, whatever. Fine. I want to push for... Look at the influence gap right now. I want to push for as much of a gap as we can manage. So he's got a that. He's got a that. Okay. I'm gonna do this. Oh, easy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's down to raw HP. Meaning he can't take a lot of damage from me, just in general. Yeah. The bots ended up... Ow. The bots ended up getting him killed with the redirection. Oh, this Orion is not even maxed up. What's going on with my bots, bro? We might be in a bad spot. I don't want to spawn on that beacon because I actually have no idea what's coming up that ramp. Coming up that ramp could be very dangerous. I'm going to try to step on this. This bot's also going to step on this. I'm going to get off of it now. I don't want him to stank me. Okay, well, he's gonna... Sure. Boom, boom. So I hit him with the 16, right? And I could do it again. But you see how, like, it didn't kill him? You see how it didn't kill him? That's kind of a problem. It's kind of a big problem. he should die to that. Yeah. Okay, that was the last mech. It got kind of sketchy toward the end. And yeah, you see what I'm talking about in terms of, like, the Hemlock doesn't have enough burst damage output. Like, Storm Rack is, like, the most obvious weapon to use for it, but anything that can deal a stupid amount of damage within the 2 or 3 seconds that they're EMP'd for after you start to deal damage to them. So anything that deals a stupid amount of damage during that time frame. Hornet is actually notorious for requiring that you deal your damage in small bursts in a rather large time frame. So this is a very bad pairing for this. Also, the Venom effect, while it's ticking, it'll immediately trigger their days. So yeah, any amount of that effect will trigger their days as well, and that's just not optimal. It's not optimal for a mech like Hemlock, but we were able to get through everything. My goal here is to change this hangar as little as possible while still making it as good as I can make it. Now, obviously, I could just say, well, I'm going to swap this hangar with a totally super S tier meta hangar, and you could do that, but that's not really what I have in mind here. Okay, so now I have it set up like this, where the Hemlock now has Storm Racks instead. Now, I actually got rid of the duration as well, because it doesn't really matter once you start hitting them. Like, Storm Rack has a very low unload time, so you don't really need them to be stuck there for that long. The Parasite Particle Beam build actually has stayed the same, not because I think it's great, but because I think it's good enough. And, I mean, you could replace it with any other, like, better brawler weapon, obviously, and it would be a lot better, like a Burrow Beam or something like that. But having some amount of range is pretty good. It is recommended even to have a little bit of range with your Parasite. The Blizz Frost now has Hellfires. I got rid of the duration in order to put Hellfire Reload on here, just because the Hellfire base reload is kind of long, and the ability duration on Blizz Frost doesn't actually keep the enemies stuck for longer. All it does is it gives you your damage resistance for longer, which is still very good, but it's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, ability duration doesn't keep them frozen for longer. The Hellfires went to Blizz Frost so that Nomad could have the Revokers. It has the damage and the range, along with the cooldown and the dash distance. Mostly, the range is not really necessary, but like, what else are you going to use? You can use dash time, which literally all it does is it gives you a little bit of extra, to like 1 extra second to do your second dash, which is not very helpful. Or you could do a little bit of extra ability damage with you. It's not very good. So you may as well have some extra weapon reach, because those are going to be the ones dealing the bulk of your damage anyway, right? Is your weapons, not your ability. And the Hornets are now on Outlaw, and your pod guns are just gone. So with the Venom damage and the reload, along with, of course, as I mentioned, the obligatory cooldown and foul play range. So this hangar has been doing surprisingly okay, even before the changes, but let's run it again after the changes and see how different it is. All right, so we have ourselves a bit of a longer ranged map here, which is not something we've really had to experience yet. Our builds don't do phenomenal in cases like this. We have a couple that can be okay, right? The Hemlock and even the Particle Beam thing, what's it called? Parasite. Even the Particle Beam Parasite to some extent. Right. So this is an anti-Nomad build. Or not Nomad, Outlaw. Yeah, I died anyway, though. That was pretty bad. I should have... I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, we're gonna go with this. So we know that he's back there with an Outlaw. With a Gemini Outlaw, specifically. And we would rather that him not be there, so let's do that. Some fancy threading that we did with our ability. Yeah, he's going to try to crash us from range. He's going to do his level best. Let's hope that the bots don't hit that dang Parasite. Yeah, they're hitting the dang Parasite bot, bro. I could see my HP going down. That's not good. Okay. Ow, 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 ow. Bruh. Okay, they have Strike Rocket. Yeah. He's got the long-range guided there. How would I want to deal with this? I'm going to spawn in the back and just cover what we have. I'm not going to worry about you. So he's dead. And I'm pretty fast, so I could probably just reload. Take that. I do have ability range. I wonder if he has ability range. I'm not sure. We'll find out. My weapons also have good range. Can I curve this around? They're hitting the terrain there, which is not really kosher. That's a parasite, so I'm gonna crash him again, actually. Just in preparation for him clearly being a problem later. To someone. Not me, hopefully. He's still got his outlaw out there. So he triggered me. That's fine. Now I'm gonna stack him with Venom. My mods are gone. Oh, that's a bot. I wonder if he's got the outlaw still. I'll bet he does. It's a bit of a problem. Yeah, he still has the Gemini outlaw. Very low reload time. And very high range. Which means that even if I system crash him, it's not going to do a lot. So that's not really the way that I would have to deal with him. The way that I would have to deal with him is by rushing him primarily, but I can't really do that with this. We have a tiny, tiny influence advantage. I'm really hoping that we can gain enough of an edge here. There we go. I keep stacking it on. Like, I'm stacking it, and then I'm waiting 2 seconds, then I'm stacking it. And that's exactly why it doesn't work well with, Is that literally him with another Gemini build? You can't be serious, bro. Okay. I might die to that, but actually not, because he's got EM rifle. Nice, okay. I'm actually just going to do it again. I know I'm dead, but I'm just going to crash that guy again, because I don't want him to use that Eclipse. It's annoying. It's honestly, it's about sending a message. It's not even about effectiveness. It's about he was mean to me one time. Right. Okay, so I can just leave. Bye. And that guy, he's still in his... click, presumably. Yeah. Why am I not applying burn? I spent all that magazine and I didn't even apply burn to him. I wonder why. He wasn't in he wasn't in stealth. I know that for sure. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna attach to one and then start firing at the other. Come on, bro. And we win. Surprisingly. Given more time, we would not have won. So this is a very ranged map, and that's not really the kind of thing that we can deal with super well. In a case like that, what we would have wanted was a Surge or a Seeker, maybe a Citadel, right? So it's not enough to just have something that's fast, like Blizzfrost, or something with ranged weapons like Outlaw, right? You need to be able to cover distance quickly, which my Nomad could do. Unfortunately, it died really quickly, though. So it worked out, but did it work out because of dumb luck? I'm going to try it again, honestly. We keep getting the exact same map. This is not exactly a great showcase. It's a great showcase of difference in Hangar, I suppose. Not a great showcase of overall performance, though, because it's only this one map that you're seeing. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna dash across. No, I wonder what he has. Okay. That is a thing. Disruptor. Where is he? Ah, here. Excuse me? I just, like, phased through him, bro. What the heck? Okay, I'm dead now. Absolutely dead. I don't care. It doesn't matter, bro. Listen, that's the most scuffed thing I've ever seen a day in my life. But he didn't get the beacon. So that's good. Arguably the most important part. We get a little bit closer. And then we're gonna flame the crap out of all of them. It's got a Jover. Got a Jover Surge. So Jover. To do that. I want him to waste as much of his magazine as he can. Nah, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say, because I can just freeze him there and then go frick off and do something else, right? I think the best way of using Blizzfrost specifically is with Radius. Because you could do exactly that. You just freeze somebody a little bit of ways. And then instead of exposing yourself to shoot at them like I just did, you literally just hit them with the Radius instead. They never see you. There's not a point, there's never a point in time where they even see you shooting at them. They know what's hitting them, but they can't see it. So like I'd use Radius there, for example. But I can't really do that. He's got Viper. That's a decision. That's a decision. A decision. What is my radius? It's some number above 30. I don't know exactly what it is, though. I'm gonna reload. Because I know I have some time. This is probably Bastion. It kind of bothers me. Ow. Oh no. I just saw how much HP I had, bro. He's gonna be a problem there. Hey guys, get out of the way. Bro, seriously, man. I'm trying to help, but they're just getting in the way. This is ridiculous. Okay, so, right. There's no way that I would do any amount of reasonable damage to that guy with Hornets. But with Stormwreck, I can basically one meg him. He's basically just gone. So he's gonna get shot by the bot. And I'll time my shot to be right in line with also the bot. So we basically deal damage at the same time. Not a lot of wasted potential there. He has a blockade mod. We're just gonna stun him. Oh wait, what the heck, bro? What the heck, bro? It's Reaver. It's not even that good. Okay, hold on. How much damage can I deal with this? Ow! Never mind, not a lot. I should have dazed him. What do we have here? This should be an easy counter to both. The Nomad's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Fair enough. We're just gonna run it this way. We have the tiniest amount of influence advantage. What I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna do something really risky. How's it going, man? I'm gonna hope that's his last one. We're at 10. He's got one more. He's got one more. Now, if the thing that he has just naturally counters the thing that I has, we're not gonna have a good time. But I don't think so. Looks like Gemini. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna keep doing that. Hopefully he can't heal himself. And we have the influence advantage and we have the beacon advantage, so he's just slowly losing and there's nothing he can do about it. Except for hope that he can kill me through some miracle. But he's not going to. Yeah. Right. So that was a pretty good decision. I mean, Outlaw does counter almost everything. It's just a matter of whether or not the Hornets have enough burst DPS to be able to kill something that might rush toward me, like let's say a Seeker. That would be pretty bad news. And so, yeah, I would say this is definitely an improvement while still keeping the spirit of the Hangar largely alive. The weakest Link build out of all of them, honestly, it would have to be the Nomad. I would replace this with a Surge, if anything. Like, if you're open to changing some of your mechs, I would probably change the Nomad to a Surge, because it's just better. I would also put a better weapon onto Parasite, which, again, could be a plethora of things. Versa is actually a decent choice. It's It's a very good weapon while the modifier is active. Howler could be okay, but I think you want to get some good range, to be honest. So suppressor would be all right. Charge rocket would be all right. So yeah, there's a lot of decent choices that I think are at least slightly better than particle beam, and there are plenty of mechs that are also better than Nomad, but the rest of this looks pretty solid. You have a very decent balance of pushing power and defensive power. And if you were to swap the Nomad for, let's say, like a Solus or something that just like stays in the back and camps the entire time, yeah, that build individually might be good, but it's going to seriously tank the amount of pushing power that you have and the amount of holding power that you have, actually, because Nomad's also fairly tanky. So yeah, that's about all I have to say for this hangar. Thank you to JFox Studios, and let's get on to the next one. The next one up is this hangar from the Stellar S. This is a lot more classic meta, with the exception of this Eclipse build. Let's give it one kind of test run to see how we like it, though. I want to pay special attention to this one specifically. So we got smokestacks here. Player number something, 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 something. I'm going to start with the Eclipse. It's probably the best choice. Because now you could use like a Surge because, you know, it's faster. You could use it as a beacon runner. But it has so much potential as a counter to things. That's the thing, is that Surge is a very hard counter to a lot of different things, and right at the beginning of the match is the time where you're most likely to get randomly sacked by something stupid that you're not prepared for. So you don't want to waste your Surge just because you don't know what's going on in the field. You would want to waste something that's actually kind of expendable, which is why I started with the Nomad in the last one. It's because it kind of wasn't that good. I have some duration here. He's got pod gun, but he also has an eclipse. I'm actually just gonna run at him. Honestly, yeah, I got damage. I got damage. Not like a crazy amount of damage, but I do have damage. Alright, now he can't log on to me anymore, so... I say that, but he probably will anyway. He shouldn't be able to log on to me, is how I should phrase that. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna finish capturing that, and then we're gonna run. We're gonna run. There's a block horn there, and I don't want to deal with it. We're gonna wait for his ability to end, and then he'll come up the ramp. He's got a Nomad friend. Stay as far away as I can here. Nice. I should be able to kill the Nomad? Oh, and the Bastion killed him. Right. But there's somebody on our back beacon doing unspeakable things. It's a minigun surge is one of those, bro. He just dashed somebody, but he's reloading. He can't do anything. Bots are special. Okay, nice. He spawned one Amber gun, bro. Okay, yeah, here's the problem. This is where you're gonna really start to see Overdriver, decent damage, but not crazy damage. And that's where the difference really lies. I had a massively hard time dealing with that Solus, which, by the way, Solus is weak. On the scale of HP, it has the same HP as Eclipse, I believe. And so, yeah, it should have been a relatively easy kill. But that blockade mod, that solid blockade mod, has so much HP. And Overdriver, though it is decent, it's not that decent. So yeah, you're missing out on a lot of damage. Ow! Oof. I would even go so far as to say that a weapon like maybe Reaver, which deals slightly less damage than Overdriver, but it deals it more consistently. Like, you don't have to let your finger off the trigger at all. Is going to give you slightly better usability than the Overdrivers do. Can I just, like, clip him in the head, bro? I want to. Alright, whatever. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. Hello. I want to get him from the back. We're fine. Don't worry about it. Yep, we're just gonna EMP him again. Get him from the back. Okay, easy. Beam doesn't one mag things anymore, but it can still. Please don't use your ability. Please don't. Actually, okay, never mind. I one-mag that Citadel. That's pretty good. I'm thinking of... We already have an advantage. But if I can grab this beacon, we'll have an even higher advantage. Which just makes it basically impossible for them to come back from it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to use this guy as a meat shield from that minigun. I think he's preoccupied. I don't even know what the other guy is doing, bro. What's the player doing? He was doing stuff. I mean, he's got a lot of damage. He's got like a ton of damage. Nice. I'm actually surprised that it did that well. I expected it to get like 2, maybe 3 kills. The Eclipse, I mean. But I also didn't really use any of the other stuff. We have a 2v2 here, actually. Which is pretty gamer. Pretty nice. I'm going to start off with my Deathwalker. Hello, bot. You're not giving me a whole lot of hope. I really want to... Stasis beam. Are we serious? I really want to start with this because I know that as the game progresses, as the match progresses, I should say, you're going to start to see more outlaws. They're going to start to spawn in more frequently to counter random different things. People are going to want them for one thing or another. So if I spawn it early, while people are primarily worried about beacon running, I should be able to get some good work out of this. Yeah, this is fine. I'll just do it here. I'll just do it here. Yeah, this is fine. Yep. Okay, that's you dead. And then, yeah, we just get sent back. Don't care. Don't care. That's perfectly fine. So they're going to spawn there. I'm going to do a lot of damage to him. Wow, he's basically dead already. Teleporty thing here. We have to assume that they all have outlaws. They probably do. Both players are back there. Both of them are weak. I'm actually more concerned about the bots, low-key. They got a Dreadnought back there and a whatever the heck that is. I don't know. Please don't. No, come on, man. This stupid Bastion's pushing me out into the open and almost got me killed. I was trying to back up because I knew that Surge would immediately dash me. Hello? Do you want to, like, I don't know, man. Like, go somewhere else? Anywhere else? Wow. You fragment gun seeker. That kind of slaps. Hold on. I can probably kill him. Never mind, I cannot. But there was a parasite bot there anyway. What is he doing? Is he gonna link to that guy or not? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with my outlaw now. Strike rockets are good. I like them. It's one of my favorite builds. Doesn't do very well against bots, though, because the bots tend to use max level legendary canopy, max level, like, blockade as well, which is not really a good idea, but it does help against something like this. A lot of shots get absorbed by blockade mod. Most players don't use it. That Seeker is using it, though. Is he getting healed by somebody? Because he's not as far close to dead as he was earlier. What is that? Yeah, I'm just gonna, honestly, I'm just gonna crash him, bro. Let's just get this over with. That should kill him. Alright. What is that? Oh, hey. How's it going, man? He's got, minigun Deathwalker. Yep. Yeah, alright. Nice. Good call. Poor soul. Poor soul never stood a chance. That's just what happens. That's the risk that you run. And by the way, it's exactly the reason that I didn't save my Deathwalker for later. It's actually, it becomes increasingly risky later on in the match to spawn your Deathwalker because there's almost guaranteed to be an outlaw around. Until it's like, I mean, if you get down to like the very end where it's just like a couple mechs left, then maybe there won't be. But all right, so that's pretty decent. I think it's a decent showcase. But most of these are very, very strong builds. This is one that we used earlier. I'm using the exact same setup on here as I did with the last hangar, so I'm not going to bother explaining this one. We do have the Strike Rocket Outlaw, as I mentioned before. Cooldown and ability range basically mandatory. So I'm sacrificing my Strike Rocket reload. I'm just deciding that I don't really need it that much. And I'm going to go for damage first and foremost. And also range to increase the amount of things that I can hit. The further back I can sit, the better off I will be, right? Like, I want to be as far back as possible, using my ability from as much range as possible, and if my weapons can also reach that range, that's just really, really good for me. The Deathwalker, Stormrack Deathwalker, cooldown and duration are both very, very strong on Deathwalker. I would recommend using both of them on basically any build that you use. In the case of Stormrack, the Stormrack Legendary Reload is a must-have. And so what you're left with is, you know, a couple different options. You could go with Stormrack damage, you could go with shield damage, which is, in my experience, just a weaker form of Stormrack damage. Like, between these two, just pick this one every time. It's that simple. HP Restoration is an interesting implant. You can have 10% extra healing every time you resurrect. It's not a big deal, bro. Like, think of the situation like when that Seeker killed me with the fragment guns. I would have died whether I had that implant or not. I would have had to have run probably 3 or 4 separate cycles of dying and then respawning with additional HP in order for that implant to have actually made a difference. And so that's why I decide to never use it. That is the reason that I never use it, is because it's just not very good. So that brings us down to primarily damage versus radius. And since the Stormrack 16s do plenty enough damage on their own, I'm going with radius just to make it slightly more likely to hit things. Burrow Beam Surge, this is the only one where I actually don't own the ideal implants. I don't have the legendary Burrow Beam Fire Rate implant. Can't find it. But yeah, this is the way that I would run it with those 3 Burrow Beam implants with the Surge Dash Distance. The dash distance is just very helpful. It helps you get from point A to point B quicker. It gives you more options in terms of who you can dash at, and it makes it harder for them to prepare because you can, you know, set yourself up from further away. All 3 of these implants help your DPS, and that's going to kill people while they are under the EMP status effect, which clearly is something that you would like to do if possible. And then, of course, the Eclipse. The Eclipse. I have damage and burnout. That's the best ones for DPS. The cooling is not quite as good. Overdrive cooling, not quite as good as burnout for just raw DPS. But I also have cooldown and duration. Now, I could sacrifice one of these for cooling just to increase my DPS a little bit, but I think both of these are fairly necessary if you want to get a decent brawler build out of it. And that's another thing that makes Overdriver a little less desirable as a weapon for Eclipse, is because Eclipse now really wants to use both cooldown and duration. In order to be effective, it wants to use both of those implants after it got nerfed. So you're going to want to look for a weapon that doesn't require more than 2 implants, which Overdriver kind of does. And so all I've done here is I've swapped the Overdriver for Tetra Rifle on Eclipse, keeping the cooldown and the duration on here for the ability. We also have, obviously, the damage to increase your damage output by as much as possible, and the reload just to decrease your cycle time and allow you to get out more magazines. You could use range, but your base range is 130, and it's fine for the most part. Especially on something faster like Eclipse, it can make do, right? You don't really need range that much. Make no mistake, this is not a meta build, and Eclipse in general is not used in top meta at all anymore. So, there's just some things to keep in mind. But I do think that this build specifically is very good. Right, so we get player number whatever. It might be the same guy, it might be a different guy. I don't know what the number was last time. So we're just gonna roll with it. What we have here is a pretty decent Tetra Rifle map, actually. I'm going to back up slightly. We're gonna chip away at this bastion here. Now there's a guy over there. Where is... Hello. EM rifle, hemlock. That's not a big deal. There's no damage fall off or anything, so like there's no big deal in terms of what range I'm at. Like I could be point blank and still deal the same amount of damage. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that. These bots with the galvanic hull is gonna be the main problem, right? For a lot of people, this weapon might look like it underperforms, but if you're not max level, you're not going to be dealing with a lot of galvanic hulls, or at least not well-leveled ones. And so you will be able to one-shot quite a lot of things. I'm actually going to go in here now that I have the chance. My cooldown's pretty short. This is exactly why I want the cooldown implant. Keep my cooldown as short as possible while I'm doing random maneuvers like that. I have no kills still. Oh dear. Hello. Boom, boom. We're gonna deal with that. Let's just... Can we just... Can we just deal with this guy? Please? That should kill him. Okay. Easy enough. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so maybe what I should be doing... Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to fire one to kind of break his galvanic hull a bit more before firing the other one. All right, let's go over. Ooh. Hello. Boom, 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 boom. Trade some fire there. Like, I get some good range out of this, right? Like, I got some... And I just killed him. He was pretty weak, though, to be honest. Like, you can see how practical this build can be. Like, it's very easy to use at most situations. It's not doing a crazy amount of damage, though. I don't super love it at the moment against these bots. However, the other thing to keep in mind is whether or not you actually need range in your hangar, right? Because, like, I already have an outlaw. Do I need a sniper build? Probably not. Ultimately, I would just change the Eclipse entirely. Because, realistically, if you're not using Eclipse as, like, a more ranged type build, then that basically just means that you're gonna die really fast, right? Like, it's just not gonna work out very well for you, most likely. I forgot which side of the map I was on, and I accidentally went to this one. I would rather be up in the other beacon. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, I'm not gonna do a ton of damage to that guy. It's fine. Some amount of radius damage there. Okay. We're not gonna worry too much about it. My... ability duration timed out. Could do a lot of damage there. I don't have to use my ability again. Could, but I don't have to. No, I'm just gonna kill him with the radius. I'm gonna place my respawn there. I'm gonna move up to this place. So that if anyone were to jump me from, let's say, over there, and kill me, it's gonna send me back into cover as opposed to back out in the open. And we win by influence. I mean, I didn't really do the Eclipse. Okay, 5 kills. That's actually more than I thought I got. I feel like I didn't really do a lot in terms of, like, kills with it, but I was able to control the map to a relatively moderate degree. I'm not super happy with this even still, though. So we're going to give it one more go, but with a Reaver 12 instead of Tetra Rifle. Like I mentioned, Reaver, slightly less burst DPS, but it has a lot better sustained DPS because you could just hold down the trigger. The reload time is basically nothing. We got another 2v2. So this will be nice. I do not have... Oh, nice, he's got the new mech. I don't have a lace wing for this map. That is what I would like to have for this map. You know, just having a lace wing gives you a massive advantage. Literally just owning the one mech gives you a massive advantage. Okay, so that guy's using charge rocket. I can tell by how fast he is. I'm going to use stealth, go this way. He is... You know what? He's fine. I'm not going to worry about him too much. He's off on that side. He's going to try to radius me. I knew that. He is an outlaw. Oh, nice. I can kill him. I can kill him. He does a lot of damage. The charge rocket 16s do... They do a lot of damage. But, not enough. Yeah, not enough. Oh, dear. That's not good. Yeah. That's the problem with getting in close proximity with an eclipse, is that you're probably going to get instantly screwed. Hey, fellas, how's it going? Yeah. That block horn literally blocked me out, bro. Why are we like this, man? And they probably got an outlaw too. I don't know. That's at least that is a redux. And that actually they both might be reduxes at the moment. Just fine by me. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Look. Alright. One of them is dead. One of the redoxes. I forgot what it was called for a second. A Surg. He's in a Surg now. This works for me, honestly. I'm okay with that. Yeah, send me back. Send me back. I don't want to be here no more. Yeah, alright. We're keeping the center. That's all I want. I'm looking at the beacons and the influence. I want to make sure that we hold the center, and I want to make sure that we have the beacon or the influence advantage. Currently we do, and it's looking very, very good for us. Now, I'm not even going to bother getting on that, because it's going to recap itself. Hey man, how's it going? Uh-oh. Fair enough. They got a Citadel on the right. That guy's also on the right. Honestly... Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it. Actually, both of us are outlaws right now. I'm just going to back off. We both crashed the same guy, potentially. Yeah, let's go. Double crash. Was OP. It won us the match. Nah, you just got Gemini. Not the worst. You can clearly see there's, like, a trade-off between, like, Overdriver and Reaver and Tetra Rifle. Overall, like, if you wanted to use Eclipse, I would say probably you want to go with, like, Stormrack or Charge Rocket, but you already got 2 missile pilots here, so I'm not gonna subject you to a third. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm not gonna make the assumption that you can field 3 missile builds. It's very unlikely that you can. So ultimately, yeah, the weakest link in your hangar by far, and the only thing that you really need to change is the Eclipse. It's not that good. The Eclipse just in general is not that good. If you wanted to, if you really like it, I would actually sack the Hemlock, put like the Stormracks or even Charge Rockets on the Eclipse, if you really wanted to keep that. Sack the Hemlock, because the Hemlock is also not top tier, really. And if you're having a more passive burst fire build on the Eclipse, then you don't really need it on the Hemlock so much. And so you could replace that with, you know, like a Lacewing, which would have been helpful in the last match. But otherwise, yeah, pretty solid. Honestly, there wasn't like there's not a lot that I would say that I would like. I look at this hangar and it's like, oh my goodness, you absolutely need to get rid of that immediately. No, this hangar is mostly fine. There are optimizations to be made. Again, Strike Rocket 16 does... Yeah, I like it, but it doesn't do great against certain enemies in certain situations. You probably want to use, like, Hornet, maybe Gemini, maybe Podgun. But, yeah, otherwise, it's pretty decent. Thank you to the Stellar S for your hangar as well. And, yeah, as far as, like, the last time I uploaded one of these videos, bro, was, like, a year ago. I'm not even going to bother explaining it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm not even going to bother explaining. There's going to be a pinned comment. Like, you could just read that. I'm still kind of figuring things out. I'm not necessarily stoked with the format that I have, is the TLDR. But that will be it for me. Appreciate y'all. Take care.